All right, guys, so I'm going to show you guys how to make that nut and bolts fidget spinner. It's 3 different parts, so we're going to make 3 different things, the bolt, the nut, and then this cap that'll end up going on top to kind of keep it all together. So I'm going to do this all in one long video, but it is 3 different parts. If you just pay attention, if you have to stop during class and where you left off, and you'll be able to pick up there tomorrow. So first thing you want to do is we're going to create a document, and we're going to name this document bolt. I'm going to name mine bolt 1 because I already got a bolt in there. Okay, we are going to draw on the top surface. I'm going to click on that top surface. I'm going to put a sketch on. Now I don't want to see those other things anymore, so I'm going to take the view off of those by unchecking that eyeball. Click on the top of my object. Now I'm going to grab my polygon tool, and I'm just going to go ahead and click on that center point, pull it out a little bit, and notice when you move that polygon, it changes how many sides you got. We're going to leave ours at 6. Now I'm going to measure it, so I'm going to use my dimension tool. So I click this tool, or I hit D on my keyboard, and I'm going to measure one of these lines, and I'm going to make it 1 inch. Next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to extrude that. So I'm going to hit extrude, and we're going to extrude that to 4 inches. Now we're going to do some things on this for later. We're going to do some sketching on here that we'll mess with later, but we're going to do it all right now. So you should just have this polygon extruded out to 4 inches. Now I'm going to turn to the bottom, put a sketch on there. So I clicked on the surface, clicked on the sketch, and I'm going to grab my polygon tool again. I'm going to start on that center point again, and I'm going to pull it out. Again, make sure you got 6. Then we're going to measure it again. And this time I'm going to measure it 0.65. Now you can tell this isn't quite lined up perfectly. So to get it to line up perfectly, we're going to use this parallel tool. So I'm going to click parallel tool. And I'm going to choose one of the small polygon lines and one of my original polygon lines. And it lines those 2 up. And I'm going to hit the check mark. Now we will use this later. Right now though, what I want to do is I want to find the center of my part here. So the way I'm going to do that is I'm going to go to, in this case, my right plane. And I'm going to put a sketch on my right plane. So I click that right plane and then click sketch. And you can see that box popped up. And then when I click on the right side, it doesn't matter if this is horizontal or vertical, but I'm going to draw a line. You see how when I move my mouse over there, that dotted line popped up? I want to draw a line all the way through the middle of it, and you want to make sure that you're in the middle. And then hit my check mark. So I got a line going down the center, and we'll need that for later. All right, next thing, we are going to put a circle on the bottom here. So I'm going to click on my bottom, add a sketch. Now we don't really need to measure this one. It just needs to be bigger than our polygon. So I'm just going to make it a little bit bigger than my polygon. And there we go. All right, so now we're going to extrude that circle. I'm going to hit the little check mark. I'm going to go to extrude. And I want to change my extrusion to surface. So click on surface, click on that circle, and it's coming the wrong way, so I'm going to flip it opposite direction. And I would like this to go 4 inches as well. So what that did is it kind of put a little shell around the outside. Think of it as kind of like putting a tube over the top of that. So now we're going to figure out our coil. So this bolt has a turn on it. So the way we're going to put that in is it's a helix. So I'm going to click on helix. If for some reason helix isn't the top one on there, hit that drop down and find helix. So for the helix, we're going to click on this tube that we just made. And you can see the lines start to go around. We want the revolutions to be 1. And then we're going to hit check. So now we have 1 rotation going around that surface. Right, so I don't want to look at that anymore. So on the left side where it says surface here, I'm just going to hit that I, get rid of it, and I'm just left just with the line. Okay. Now we're going to make our coil. So I'm going to use this tool called sweep. So I'm going to click on sweep. And I'm going to sweep this object. You can see when it says sweep path now, that is red. So I'm going to click sweep path and choose that line. And I want it to intersect. So I change it from add or remove to intersect. And I'm going to hit the check mark. And there I am left with the spinny part of my bolt. Now I don't want to look at that curve anymore, so I'm just going to hide it. I'm not deleting it, I'm just hiding it. I don't want to look at it. Same thing, I suppose, if you didn't want to look at that sketch anymore, you could hide that one. All right, so now we're going to put the bottom of that on. So I'm going to click on my bottom surface, add a sketch. Grab my circle tool again. And this time we are going to measure this one, so I'm going to click on my dimensions. And I'm going to make that 2 inches. And then we're going to extrude that. And you're going to have to change it back to solid. I have to select it again for this. And I want that to be 0.2. It's not going very far. So 0.2. You want to make sure this is solid all the way in there. And that's it for our bolt. So remember, this saves automatically. So I'm going to go ahead and go back to Onshape. And I can see bolt. Oh, I misspelled it, blot. So I just saw that. So if you're going to take your bolt 1, and I'm actually going to rename this. Okay, or actually I'm going to make a copy. So I'm going to go down to, so I right-clicked on it. I'm going to go to Copy Workspace. And I'm going to name this Nut. Okay. I'm going to name mine 2.0 because I already have one in there. All right, so once I made a copy, so we want to keep all that same stuff because we don't have to do all that work again. So now I'm going to just get rid of some things that I don't need. So I'm going to delete. So again, I'm in the nut one. So I'm going to delete that extrusion, delete this sketch. I don't need those. The rest of the stuff I'm going to keep for now. But on our sweep, I'm going to right-click. I'm going to go to Edit. I don't want the center part, I just want the outside. So instead of intersect, I'm going to change it to remove. And I'm going to hit the check mark. And now I have the outside part. Okay, we don't need it to be this long. So we're going to cut this down here in a minute. So I'm going to click on that surface, add a sketch. There's other ways we could do this, but this is just as easy as anything else. I'm going to grab my circle tool, make it bigger than my object. I'm going to extrude that, and then remove 3 inches. Okay, remove 3 inches. And that's giving me just that bolt. Now the last thing we have to do with this is if we put it on right now, it would be like the tolerances would be too tight. Like this is exactly the same size as the inside part. So it would be really snug to get on there. So what we're going to do is we are going to do a little bit of an offset on this. So at the top of your screen, you should see a tool for offset. Offset up. Oh, maybe I have to put a sketch on this first. Sorry. So I click on that surface, add a sketch. My fault. And then we should see this offset tool. I'm going to click on that. Make sure I'm looking at a nice flat view of this. And I want to offset just, I don't want these curved lines on the inside. So just these lines, 6 lines around the outside. So I don't want them going in. I don't want them coming in. So I'm going to hit this little arrow so they go out. And I want them to come out 0.03. So I'm going to change this number to 0.03. Check mark. So that's going to make all that just a hair bigger. But if I just cut this right now, then I'm going to cut my curves off. So we're going to have to do our sweep again. So I'm going to click on sweep. We're going to sweep this object, our sweep path. We don't see anymore, right? So I got to show that. So our sweep path. And we're going to remove. And I can hide that again. And you're done with the nut part. So remember on this one, it was just that offset. And you had to sweep it again. And then choose, click on that one, that curvy path. All right. Last thing is the cap. The cap's easy. So we're just going to create a new document. We're going to call it cap. It doesn't matter which one you're clicking on, so I'm going to click on the front here. Put a sketch on it. Hide the rest. I'm going to grab a circle tool, and I'm going to make this 2 inches. So I grab a circle, grab my dimensions, make this 2 inches. I'm going to extrude it to 0.2. And I'm going to put another sketch on, put another circle on. I'll make sure that circle's in the middle. And we're going to measure this circle, 0.5. Then we're going to extrude this circle to 0.5. And we're done with that. I just realized I forgot something. So that is our cap. But we got no place for this little cap to go. So go back to Onshape. Open up your bolt or blot in my case. And click on that top surface. Add a sketch. Draw a circle. And you guessed it, that circle's going to be 0.5. Actually, we're going to make it 0.51. We're going to make it just a tiny little bit bigger. And then I'm going to extrude it. And I want to remove it. And we're going to remove it to 0.51 as well. Then you're done. All right, so we got all 3 parts done. This video is long enough, so I will talk about turning it in another time. So Good job if you got this far. You nailed it.